What is up, fight fans? I am Jason Burgos for Sherdog.com, and I'm joined by a woman who gets her second opportunity at Bellator Featherweight Gold on Thursday night at Bellator 249. On that night, this former boxing world champion will look to dethrone the division's resident boogie woman in Cris Cyborg inside the Mohegan Sun Arena, and that athlete I speak of is the one they call Anger Fist, aka Arlene Blencowe. Madam Fist, thank you so much for the time so close to this fight.
No worries. Thanks for having me on.
My pleasure. Now, Cyborg has been like the face of this division ever since she beat Gina Carano all the way almost more than a decade ago. Yes, she lost to Amanda Nunes, but it really hasn't changed like her relevance, her dominance that much. She's kind of like the Kraken of women's featherweight. Yeah, maybe the Kraken loses in a rare moment, but it still remains a scary monster nonetheless. So for such a special talent, I feel like tape is not enough. Just watching a bunch of her fights. Do you have to? I know I saw an interview. They said that you had trained with Holly Holm in the past. She's a former opponent of Cyborg. Do you have to kind of like seek out, go to talk to Holly Holm, pick her brain a bit on Cyborg? Do you seek out other opponents? Do you even talk to someone like Julia Budd, who you have a history with, just to kind of get that inside intel on how strong she is in the cage, how her technique is, to get that added things that maybe tape can't give you in just watching video?
Well, obviously, yeah, she's been at the top of the featherweight division for, like you said, all these years. So, no, we've obviously prepared for the worst case scenario, and I've brought on a lot of featherweight males in my fight camp. So, obviously, I started fight camp and was training with Holly, who was the first person to go 5 rounds with Cyborg and go the distance with her. But back at home, I've got Alex Volkanovski, who's a featherweight UFC champion. So, I'm not going to get much better training partner than him to push me. So, we know that Cris is strong, but, I'm strong too. So, it's just backing my abilities. Like I said, we've trained hard for this fight camp. We've prepared for the worst case scenarios, and, we'll just see how the fight plays out. And I feel like I'm more than ready for whatever sort of happens in there and ready to fight my fight.
And I'm glad you brought up the Alex Volkanovski training, because I also saw your interview with Ed Carbajal and you mentioned it to him too. Like, not to say that you don't train with high-level fighters on a regular basis, but, to train with someone like him, one of the best fighters in the world currently, is still a big deal. Did you get to do a lot of training with him? Was it a substantial amount where he was able to impart some interesting information on you that was helpful? Or did you not get enough, as time with him specifically one-on-one as you would have liked?
No, he was, I had a lot of time with Alex and a lot of one-on-one sessions with him too, where we were just sort of partnered up, and he'd spend a good amount of time drilling with me and passing on his knowledge, and so him and his whole team, all his training partners, and obviously his coach Joe Lopez, they were more than welcoming, having me down there, and very, very appreciative. But I mean, that's the same with all the gyms that I get to walk in and train with, like obviously my home gym, all my training partners that have been my training partners for years now, all my coaches, even, going over to Jackson Wink, Coach Wink and Holly, they were more than welcoming as well. So I feel very blessed that I've had so many people, more so recently, but, throughout my career, that have helped me to get to where I am today.
I mean, and you've been doing combat sports for a while. You're a two-sport athlete, but when you do train with someone at such a high level that has reached the pinnacle, like Holly, like Alex, did they drop knowledge bombs that even made you go, "Oh, I didn't think about it that way"? And do you have any specific ones to tell me?
No, even just the one-on-one time. Like, I actually like the fact that I was training with both Holly and Alex, because they're both very down-to-earth and humble people. Holly's obviously been a champion in both boxing and, the former UFC world champion. And, they're just very normal people, and I like that about them. I spent, a lot of time with Holly outside of the gym, and, it was just nice to speak to her on a personal level too, as a female. And, it was just, it was a bit of an eye-opener for me, and a sort of a bit of a realisation with a few things. And, she helped me a lot with, my mental side of, approaching this fight. And, Alex is just super cool too. Like, he's obviously the current UFC champion, but, you see him in the gym and he helps everybody. It's not that he's helping, he helped me because I'm obviously fighting Cyborg for the world title. He'll help somebody that's just walked in off the street and, is learning. So but very, very good people to be around.
In her win over Cyborg, Amanda Nunes really kind of plowed forward in a way that you never really seen done to Cyborg in previous fights. However, if it was easy to do, everyone would do it, and Amanda is an all-time fighter for a good reason. But is there something effective in that strategy against Cris? Like, it's hard to outpoint her because she's really hard to hold up and withstand with her power over 5 rounds. And if you wait her out, chances are you're going to get beat up after if you try to counter. Most fighters on the planet are going to probably be an underdog against her. But is there something to be said about just throwing caution to the wind a little bit, getting in her face, pressuring her, getting her on her back foot on some level?
Well, definitely. At the end of the day, she's human. Everybody is beatable. Once upon a time, look at Ronda. Everyone thought that she was unbeatable. And, Holly exposed that. It's just the matter of, with any opponent, and the same goes for undefeated opponents at the moment, there is a way to beat everybody. Everybody is beatable. And that's how I'm approaching this fight with her. She's human. Obviously, the fight with Amanda exposed weaknesses. But I'm sure she's gone back to her camp and worked on those weaknesses. So that's the beauty of MMA. We're all learning and progressing and becoming better fighters every day. And I'm sure that's why she's been at the top of the game, because she does that every fight camp herself. But I can say the same about me. I've grown as a fighter and I've grown as an athlete. And every fight camp, even my wins, like I'm on a 3-fight win streak at the moment, but we've gone back every fight camp and we've, gone back to the drawing board and looked to improve on things. And it's going to be a great fight. I'm obviously going to take it to her and see how it goes.
And I'm glad you brought up weaknesses, people not being perfect fighters, because that's where I was going to go to next, because she is really well-rounded. If you want to grapple with her on the mat or the cage, she can do it. If you want to have an ugly fight, she can do that. If you want to be tactical, she can do that. But no fighter's perfect, like you say. She went to decisions with Spencer and Holm, like you mentioned with Holm earlier. She went to a 4th round with Julia, but she lost to Amanda. Do you feel like there is maybe, like you mentioned, the weaknesses? Have you seen, not just in the Amanda fight, but throughout her career, does she have maybe certain tendencies and certain holes in her game that maybe people weren't able to exploit to their fullest, and you've seen and you're like, you know what, I think I can do it right now. I can exploit these little things that maybe people didn't push on. Have you seen that just watching her from over her career, seeing certain things she has holes in?
Definitely. I've obviously, like I said, she's been at the top of the leaderboard now for the rankings, for all these years. So, she's someone that I've obviously watched and kept a close eye on. Obviously, once we got matched, though, I've left the video analysis up to my team. They're the ones that sort of, obviously have come up with the fight plan and you work strategies. So, I believe in how we've trained and what we've worked on for this fight. I stick to my game plan, I come away with a win.
You head into this fight a bigger underdog than Julia was, than Felicia Spencer was, than even Amanda Nunes was for their fights with Cris. Fans are going to look at this fight and think, oh, well, if she couldn't beat Julia, why should she beat the woman that dominated Julia? Now, as a journalist, I know MMA math does not hold up. But for the fans that watch this, explain to them why you are a legitimate, serious test for her, why styles really do make fights, and why you can give the champion serious trouble on Thursday night.
Well, it's even like I look back at the Julia fights and there was things that, I could have done and should have done a little bit better. But, styles definitely make fights. You look at any, 2 fighters and then the next 2 fighters give, fights can always go differently. But, for the most part, we're both strikers, we're both aggressive. But in saying that, it's MMA, so the fight can really go anywhere, can't it? So not looking past, obviously Cyborg or anything, but you throw me back in the fight with Julia now and it would be completely different. So it's just a matter of evolving as a fighter. Sort of let things slip a little bit last time. So it's something that we've worked on hard for the last 3 years.
Now, Cyborg has been around for a long time, so she's got a wear on her tires. She's been around, but I was impressed with the fight with Julia, where even late in the fight, 4th round, she still was able to turn it on and stuff like that. Is she one of those fighters, like you said, you've watched her for a long time, like many of us have. Has she even showed much slowdown, considering all the time she's been in the sport, all the wear and tear she's got? Like, do you feel like she's slowed down on some level, or she's pretty much still as good as she's ever been?
Well, I think obviously, her fight with Felicia was probably, a little bit of an eye-opener, but obviously that was her first fight coming back after, being beaten by Amanda, which would have been a hard fight to come back to mentally, a lot of pressure and everything that she would have had to deal with. And obviously, like I said, she is human, so she would have had to go through all of that. But I think with the Julia fight, getting signed to Bellator, and obviously her goal to become the champion of all the title belts, that was a big goal, and I think she was super hungry. I don't think anything was going to stop her there. So, she's achieved what she wanted to achieve now. I don't think there's any goals with, her fight against me. It's, would just be another fight for her. Whereas for me, I'm hungry for this world title. I let it slip 3 years ago and it broke my heart. And even today I had my photo shoot and holding it. It means a lot to me. I'm hungry. So, it's always interesting to see who's got, more reason to fight. And I feel like this fight, I have more reason to fight than she does. And you can never underestimate the underdog. And that's what us Australians are known for. We're fighters, we're tough, and we dig deep. And, so I'm here to shock the world.
Do you feel as a fighter yourself, as a competitor, or maybe just the people you've trained with over the years? Because that's an interesting point you make. You seem to have much more more skin in the game for this fight than maybe her. Maybe she's looking at you like, oh, I beat Julia, I beat her. Do you think on some level fans may think, oh, there is slippage? Maybe a fighter does underestimate someone. They're going into thinking, oh, who they fought in the past was maybe better, not respecting. Do you think that really does happen, that she could maybe be overlooking you in some level? Or do you think as a competitor, even from yourself, that fighters really don't do that?
Don't get me wrong. I think, you can't get to that level without underestimating any fighters. So, every fight for her is a dangerous fight, and that's what happens when you're the champion. You can't overlook anybody, and, she'd be stupid to do that, and I don't think she would, because, you can't be complacent. I think she's taken me very seriously. Obviously, my striking, she's well aware that she's in for a tough fight. But, when you're coming up against someone that's hungry, then, things can change. So
now you've earned this opportunity for the second time, like I mentioned earlier, and you're at a point in your career, your age, that it gets harder to get title shots as you get to a certain point. Do you feel an extra weight and extra pressure, like I need to make this count? Like this is my second time for the title. If I don't make it count, maybe Bellator doesn't feel the faith in me to give me a third shot if I don't get this done. Do you feel that way? I need to make this happen now? Or do you even feel like, what? Yeah, I may be 37, but I'm a young 37. I got a ton of miles left in the tank, and I'm going to be doing it for a long time. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. Well, I'm not obviously ruling or cutting my career short or anything like that. But I've hashtagged the comment all or nothing. But it is I feel very blessed that I've been given the second opportunity, because this is the thing. You get second opportunities in life, and I have been given throughout my lifetime with other things. I've taken the second opportunity and run with it with both hands. A lot of people go through their whole fight career without even getting a chance to fight for a world title, let alone me. I'm getting a second shot here, and it's always, I've worked extremely hard though. And, the fact that I lost the last opportunity by a split decision, so it wasn't like it was a whitewash victory on Julie's behalf. It was a close fight. It was a boring fight, so the fans are saying, but they weren't in there. So
yeah, exactly.
And I've worked, I've done things, 2017, my camp was completely different. What I've done over the last 3 years to be where I am today, I'm a completely different athlete, in the sense that, I always felt like I carried myself as a professional, but I am a true professional athlete now. I live and breathe this sport, and I don't leave any stone unturned. So I don't want to drop this opportunity. I'm not looking past thinking, what if I lose this? Where do I go to? That's not something that's on my mind right now. Like I said, I held that belt this morning for my title. For my photo shoot, and it hit home, and it feels right. And I'm ready to go.